Hi, my name is Janice Darrow, and I am an intuitive empowerment guide. Also have a master's in social psychology and have been on a personal journey of empowerment through most of my adult life. So I want to share something that's been really helpful for me and probably made a huge impact and leap towards a greater sense of empowerment. For many, many years, I went to counseling, tried to work through all the emotions, which is, I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but what I found was the most impactful in my healing journey has been using gratitude and loving up my little girl inside. And so let me talk about those two and how they really can affect us. So oftentimes when we have had trauma and we're feeling not empowered in our lives, then we oftentimes go into grief, fear, and the part of the brain that deals with fight, flight, or freeze gets activated. And when that part of our brain is activated, we aren't thinking as rational. It cuts off the ability with the prefrontal cortex part of the brain that really does the long-range, logical reasoning thinking. So when we are being activated emotionally, then we're not as rational, we're not making decisions from that clear space. What I found is in doing gratitude and looking at all the wonderful things, and people ask me a lot, what does that mean? I mean, you can be grateful for, I have one seeing eye and an artificial eye, so I find myself being grateful that I can even see, and just grateful for everything in my life. Even my voice, to be able to communicate. You know, we all have different every skills, gifts, abilities, qualities that really make a difference in not only in our lives but other people. So when we really look at it from that bigger picture of what we're grateful for, what it does is it activates the prefrontal part of the cortex, because you're bringing yourself out of the amygdala, the fight, flight, or freeze part of the brain, and into more of the prefrontal cortex. So that's really strengthening that skill, that part of the brain that really thinks rational. The other part is the part of us that really feels wounded inside, unloved, and that the language. So what I find with therapy, and please don't hear this as I don't agree with therapy, I just find that there's different tools for different moments in time. And when the emotional body is been traumatized through whatever, it's stuck in that space, in that time. And so what we find is we need, and that does not know the language, it is not rational. The emotional body, the emotional self, is just emotional, and it only experiences from that language. So the best way to reach it, that I find, is through emotionally nourishing your own self, because the great thing is your emotional body doesn't know the difference that that's not happening from someone else to you. And so the more that you love up, and what does that mean? I get asked that a lot. It means, imagine that part of you, the little baby, in your arms, and you're loving it and sweeting it, just you're giving it what you feel that part of you wants, needs. And what you'll find is the more you do that, the more self-empowered, the less feeling a victim, and the more nourished you are in your life. And I do feel that if you've had serious trauma, there are great tools. EMDR, there's quite a few different tools with therapy that really is making a difference with trauma, and body-focused therapies that really help bring a healing and an empowerment way. So really nourish yourself, take care of yourself, and recognize that you deserve to feel empowered, you deserve to feel loved, you deserve to shine who you really are to the world, and know that there are so many tools out there for you to come into your truest self. So I'm wishing you a happy 2020, and thank you for listening. And I wish you a wonderful, nourishing, healing journey.